I just pickled all 10 of these summer goodies and not one of them had to be canned. These are my quick and easy pickle recipes that you need to be making, and truth be told, they're the way I got my kids to eat lots more vegetables, starting with my homemade pickles. Okay, so what I like to do is start with just fresh washed cucumbers sliced. These are called pickling cucumbers, sometimes called salad cucumbers, but you want them to have these little like kind of bumps on them. We save all our old jars, salsa, pasta sauce jars, any kind of glass jar will work. And then you just want to pack your cucumbers down. I like to sprinkle in some peppercorns. Then I like to stick in some garlic cloves because a garlicky dill pickle is supreme. And don't try to tell me different. Look, this is the time for fresh dill, okay? Pack it down and then just add in your cucumbers. Really pack them in because all that's left to go in here is liquid and that can fill all those little crevices. In this holds 2 of my famous pickle recipes. This one being the first, and then I'll show you the other one in a minute. For this brine, super simple, 8 cups of water, just like 1.5 cups of vinegar. And then kosher salt. Kosher salt has bigger flakes, but I think you can control the saltiness more. Plus, I think it has a really clean, salty flavor, about 6 tablespoons. And that's it. So I just cook this, stirring it occasionally until all that salt has dissolved. It doesn't necessarily have to come up to a rolling boil. Everything fully dissolved and slightly cooled. Get it into something pourable so that you can easily, without spilling and without burning yourself, pour the liquid into the jar. That's so satisfying. And then just go all the way to the top, and that's it. I just seal it up and stick it in the fridge. All right, next up, pickled carrots and pickled jalapeños. The reason why I'm doing both of these at the same time is because we're going to make one brine and it can work the same for both of these vegetables. Okay, so I'm starting with my carrot. All I did was just peel it. I'm going to cut these into sticks. I find if they're a little on the thin side, that's gonna be better so they kind of maintain their crunchiness, but they still let the pickling kind of soak all the way through. Carrots into the jar. Look at that. How does she do it? I could make these spicy by adding in some jalapeno. Maybe I'll do that, actually. Just a few slices with the seeds. Anything to give it extra flavor. Unlike the pickles, the jalapenos are something I like to kind of slice a little bit on the thinner side because they're potent, they're spicy. I am leaving the seeds in because it's kind of hard to take them out. If you're looking for a milder jalapeno, then grab ones that are fatter and that have like more of a rounded end versus like a pointy end. Just generally speaking, the larger they are, the milder they're gonna be. This one is equal parts water and the vinegar, 1/4 cup of kosher salt, and then 1/2 cup of sugar. Once it's all clear and dissolved, I'll let it cool slightly, pour it right over. I like pouring this liquid over while it's hot just to help soften these peppers. Any of these could be consumed within a couple hours, but ideally you wanna give all of these at least 12 to 24 hours. Okay, that's it. Seal it up. Ooh. I like to let these cool to room temperature just so they have a chance to sit in this hot liquid a little longer before I put them in the fridge. We're just on a roll. I'm gonna give you one of my other specialties real quick. These banana peppers are ones that you have to make, okay? This recipe is so special to me. This is my grandmother and grandfather's recipe. They used to have a garden and grow these. These are sweet, they're not spicy. My grandmother used to always keep these in the fridge and we'd go over there and just take a fork to the jar, like most of these recipes, throw in a clove of garlic or 2, a little jalapeno to one of the jars. It's like what my grandmother would do. This is all Mama's recipe. Okay, I'm going 1 1/3 cup water and 2 cups of vinegar. And then just about a heaping teaspoon of salt. For this one, I just bring it to a boil and pour it right over the peppers. I'm gonna let these cool to room temperature and then pop them in the fridge. And now for those Bloody Mary specialties. Pickled okra and pickled green beans. I've washed these okras and I'm just kind of taking off just the bottom where they're a little brown. And then just kind of squeeze them in the jar. Some up, some down. Okra in the summertime. All right, I've packed some okra in there and we're gonna do the same thing with green beans. So I've washed and trimmed these green beans and I'm just gonna kind of stack them up in the jar. It's also an accidental way to get your kids to snack on vegetables. It's just like kind of having them sitting out while you're cooking. I guarantee they won't be able to pass them by without grabbing one. I'm gonna use the same brine for both of these, but I'm going to tweak each one's flavor a little bit differently. Okay, Nicole, you can stop now. Already got it going. I don't think you need to see me add vinegar and water to a pot anymore. I think you got the gist. About 4 cups of water to 3 cups of vinegar, and then a good bit of salt. So I'm just gonna do garlic and dill in with the green beans. I think I'm gonna throw in some peppercorns. Okay, and then I'll pour my liquid right over those. Don't y'all like how I make it more pourable, but I spill it every time? Don't say you weren't thinking it. And then to the okra, I'm also gonna add in some dill and garlic, but I'm gonna kick these up a little bit with some dried chilies. This is gonna be good. You don't have to reconstitute them here because when we pour over that hot vinegar, it's gonna kinda do that for you. All right, I'm gonna be looking for that vodka to get our Bloody Marys ready, and also I'm about to show you my super special summer surprise. Yes, pickled shrimp, a real specialty in the South in the summer. Okay, so I have peeled and deveined these shrimps, and I have left the tail on because that makes it just great for snacking. So you can pick it up with this, eat it, and toss the tail away. So I've got a pot of water back here heating up. To that, I'm gonna add in some Old Bay. So we're gonna bring that up to a boil while we make our pickling deliciousness. Okay, so for this pickling brine, start by thinly slicing a red onion. You could also use a Vidalia onion here. Okay, so separate those into the rings. Then I'm just gonna build everything in my bowl. And then I'm gonna use a Fresno chili, just thinly sliced, and a lemon, just nice little thin slices. I'm gonna take 3 cloves of garlic and just peel them and give them a good smash. And then bay leaves, these look so great. They impart just kind of like a woodsy freshness. Then some capers. I'm gonna give them a little rough chop so they disperse through the pickling a little better. And then celery seed, good thing to have on hand. And then just lemon juice and lemon zest. And then a whole cup of apple cider vinegar. And then a half a cup of olive oil. All right, I'm gonna stir up all the flavor. Just get your mouth dancing. All right, so that's gonna sit and kind of marinate and let all those flavors come together while we cook the shrimp. Water's going, it's heavily seasoned, and that's on purpose because the shrimp are only gonna be in here 2 minutes. Set 2-minute timer. See, they're cooked. They're cooked perfectly. We're gonna stop that cooking immediately by taking them straight from here, drain them well into the marinade. That liquid's nice and cool, so it's gonna stop the cooking pretty quickly. Cover, refrigerate, be patient. Now this one you should already be doing. Pickled red onions is something you just need in your fridge at all times. This one does not have water, just vinegar, salt, and sugar. Just stir that until it's all dissolved, heating it till about a simmer, you should be good to go. And then you simply just pour this over sliced onions. Don't we love it when that happens? Seal it. This is one where the wait time just isn't that long. We can enjoy these very soon. Can we take a moment to look at the beauty of this fridge? The freshness. Here's one you don't have to wait till summer to enjoy, pickled garlic. This is another little secret weapon you can put in your arsenal. So I'm gonna add the garlic cloves to a jar. If you have any like really large ones, you can cut those in half. I'm also adding in some bell pepper. This is going to also lend a little sweetness to the pickled garlic. So you just want to alternate peppers, garlic cloves. 2 cups plain white vinegar, 2/3 cup of sugar. And then I'm also stirring in some of that celery seed again and a little bit of dried mustard. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour it over the cloves while it's screaming hot. So I'm going to go ahead and cover these so they kind of cook in there. One more to go. We're doing pickled zucchini. The inside of a zucchini is a little more spongy than the inside of a cucumber, so it really absorbs these flavors and makes for the most delicious bite. First step to this, I went ahead and got a little head start. These zucchini need to soak in water and salt with an onion for a couple hours. And while that finishes, I'm gonna go ahead and make the brine, and then we can drain these and add them to the brine. This one really is going to surprise you, and it's kind of like a little reward for sticking with me throughout this whole process. For this mixture, I'm going in with equal parts, 2 cups each of apple cider vinegar and sugar. More celery seeds, and then a couple teaspoons of mustard seed. I'm going in with a little bit of turmeric. What's so cool about these is they have this really pretty yellow color at the end thanks to this. Also a teaspoon of yellow mustard. So I'm gonna bring this mixture to a boil and cook it until all that sugar has dissolved. Drain off the salt water from your zucchini and onion. Add it right in, give it a stir, and then I'm just gonna turn off the heat. You can just let them soak in the pot, or you can go ahead and transfer them to your jars indefinitely. Cram them in, you know the drill. Is that not pretty? I think this is the one that's really gonna surprise you. The flavor in this is unlike anything you've had. All right, we did it. Now we're gonna bring together all the fruits of our labor. Check it out. It's pretty impressive, don't you think? If you cannot just taste the summer going on here, I'll do it for you. Some of these are gonna get better with a little more time, but I'm gonna go ahead and taste a few. Starting with my pickles. Just listen, this is the main part. This is how we eat them, just like this. That's what they're all about. You don't get that from the kind that, are on the store shelves at room temperature. And somebody's got to see if the pickled green beans and okra are sufficient enough for a Bloody Mary. Okay, I'll do it. Brunch, please. A bite and a sip. That's the way I eat/drink my Bloody Marys. There's no goo in there. There's no slime. Better than what you'd get off the grocery store shelf. What do we want to taste next? Let's taste Mama's banana peppers. That smells like my childhood at my grandmother's. The simplicity here. Sure hope y'all make these. The special treat that's sure to be your new favorite are these pickled shrimp. I like to pull one from the bottom so it's kind of swimming in that juice. It's like the epitome of summer in a bowl. You can jar them up. You can use bigger jars, smaller jars, and bring these over as a hostess gift. Great idea, Nicole. And what the heck, I'll try one more. This is just too much fun. And just for an excuse to eat nachos, we gotta taste the jalapeños. Have you ever made your own pickled jalapeños? That's even better than I thought it was gonna be. Way better than what you get in a can or a jar. You've got to try some of these pickles. Go out to the farmer's market, pick you up some produce, make one of these, and let me know what you think. Literally 10 out of 10. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, then how many peck of pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
It's a woodpecker. 10 out of 10.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that.